Alright, buddy, so here we are. Here's your Devo 6S, brand new condition. Here's your CC2500 with it's inside with your appropriate antenna for it, an omnidirectional antenna, and your A7105 module is also inside. For future reference, in case you ever need to know this, your A7105 is soldered onto your TMS port, and it's activated on the software, on the hardware version of this at A13. So A13 TMS A7105. Your CC2500 is going to be on the TCK, I believe, and it's going to be A14. Alright, so with that said and done, let's go ahead and turn it on. Oh, before I even turn it on, this is going to be your programming mode. So you're going to hold down the EXT, turn it on, and there you are. That's programming mode. Turn it off. Hold down, and for USB mode, hold down the ENT as for enter, and there's your USB mode. Obviously, you're going to have your little USB here attached to your computer, and you'll be able to see your TX through your computer and download off the internet INI files for whatever particular bird you want that somebody else has tuned already. It's helpful. You can just download their setup and load it up on your radio. Anywho, just go ahead, turn it off, turn it on, and here we are. Beautiful. I love that logo. Alright, so first thing you're going to want to do with these radios is go into the top left to the tool option. You're going to change the language, obviously, if you need to. Most of United States, Western Hemisphere flies mode 2. I personally fly mode 4. And if you're in China, I believe, you can go ahead and put mode 3 and mode 1. But you're gonna have to switch the throttle sticks over if you do mode 1 and mode 3. So anywho, stick to mode 2 or mode 4. Like I said, I personally fly mode 4. Not many people do. Just something I'm used to, probably from the video games. Touchscreen. Probably want to calibrate your touchscreen. That's for your stylus. Go ahead and see that marker there. Put your stylus against that. And put your stylus against that. And you're good. See, you can go ahead and put your touchscreen put your stylus all over the touchscreen and get the different value points, the matrix, whatever. And sticks. Let's go ahead and calibrate those sticks. It says center the sticks, so I'm going to do just that. It's centered. Then it says press enter. Press enter. Now it wants you to move it to the max and minimum positions. So max, max, max. And for the throttle, I do it a little bit different. I go all the way up to get the max throttle up. But on the minimum side of the throttle, I don't go all the way down. That affords me a little bit of space for a little deadband. That's just a personal preference. You don't have to do that. You can go all the way down for yours if you like, but I like that deadband space. So press enter when you're done, and I'm done. It just tells me to press enter. On the same menu, you can scroll down and you can set up other fun things like your battery alarm and your display intensity, display timer, etc. And your temperature and length, if you want to do the metric system or the imperial system. So you got Fahrenheit, Celsius. I'm going to go ahead and put Fahrenheit, and then you got your meters and feet. I'm going to go ahead and put foot. You'll probably just go in later and put the metric system, whatever works for you. Alright, so that's that for transmitter configuration. Pretty nifty. You have some other menus here and information about what firmware you have. And here's your range test page. I don't know how to use that. Sounds interesting. And here's your scanner. I don't know how to use that neither, but sounds interesting. Something worth looking into. Then you got your button monitors, input monitor, channel monitor. Pretty much that checks the status of your radio, the physical side. So good things. Let me exit out of there now. Alright, next up is going to be your model selection. So that was the TX side. That's the transmitter side. Nothing to do with actually binding or model setups, nothing like that. This is our meat and potatoes right here. Oh, quick lesson on this. Here's your quick channel monitors, by the way. As you notice, you move these around, and at the very top here, it tells you the intensity of your radio, how much signal it's outputting, which is good to know. Right now it's putting out max output. My battery's gonna waste faster, so let me go ahead and fix that. I usually stick around let me see here, TX power to it's because it's on none. For protocol, there we go. So on devo, you can go ahead and adjust, etc. You're going to be using this right here being grayed out. If you notice on the Hubsan, that means you can click on it. So for example, the J6 Pro, it's not highlighted, so you can't click on it and do anything. The Fly Sky is highlighted, so you can click on it and go into other menus like WL Toys extension, turn it on off, VX9, etc. So it just gives you more things to do when you see it highlighted like that. And in this case, I think for Hubsan, it's going to be telemetry. Yep, telemetry and I don't know, some kind of megahertz setup. Don't want to mess with that. Let me get off of it. All right. Here's this right here. Is your protocol selection. This is going to be very important when you. This is what allows you to fly your different brands. So protocol is your meat and potatoes of this radio, and the adding the modules. So here's your devo. Here's your WK2801. That's the older Walkeras. Then you got your other Walkeras there. This is your DSM2 and DSMX. That's good for a lot of Horizon hobby brands, such as the Nano QX. Moving on, you got your J6 Pro, your Fly Sky. I actually can control most of my RC cars with this protocol, although I don't find this radio ergonomic for car driving, but whatever. Just letting you know that it is possible to bind with other vehicles as well, just as long as it's 2.4 gigahertz band and the protocol matches. So here's your Hubsan. That means that your A7105 is active, up and running. Joyceway, FR Sky, blah, blah. And your CC2500 kicking in, actually. Let me go ahead and highlight that. Is your FR Sky. And here's your FR Sky V8 and your Sky Tech. Those are namely CC2500 modules. Same as what your Tyrannus pretty much controls. Alright, so see that little star there? When you see a little star, that means that you are not able to use that protocol. In this case, the reason you have a star there is because you don't have the NRF module installed. Hopefully later on down the road, there will be universal modules, and all of these will be available. But for the time being, you had to pick and choose. You chose A7105 and CC2500, and the appropriate protocols are showing, which is a good thing. So sorry, that was a little long-winded. Let's move on to the next step. For the next step, I just want to go ahead and show you that you can have your selection of model name, model type. I'm going to go ahead and put the multi-rotor picture, because that's probably what you're going to be using it for. And protocol right now, I chose none. And yeah, let's go ahead and set up the the mixer menu. This is important to bring up. So number of channels. This is something you're gonna want to look at every single model you do. If you put one channel here, when you go to the left screen, you're only gonna show one channel. So as you can see right now, channel 1, elevator is active. That's about it. So if you went to the mixer menu here, oh, would you look at that? It has all 4. Anywho, right here, all you see is elevator. 4 should be the minimum that you should have, especially if you're flying quadcopters. So let's move left, And there you go. Elevator, aileron, throttle, rudder. So now you can pretty much fly your quadcopter. But for adding lights, turning them lights on and off, hitting up flight control modes, all those other things that you require a switch for, you're gonna have to activate it. Notice how it says virtual 1 to 4, and it just keeps going to virtual whatever, virtual 5, 6, 7, just keeps going. We're gonna want to fill this in with something that actually says a channel. Channel 5, channel 6, channel 7, channel 8. To do that, let's go ahead and put number of channels all the way to 8. And let's go left. And there you go. Channel 5, channel 6, channel 7, channel 8. Alright. So I think it's about time we go ahead and select a protocol because this none thing is messing me up. Let me put it on the Hubsan protocol and put 8 channels. Oh, Hubsan doesn't allow you to go past 7. Weird. Alright. So I'm going to put it on TX power 10 milliwatts, and I'm going to save that by just clicking off. Alright, so 5, 6, 7, and virtual 1 because we don't have 8 channels on this one in particular. So Hubsan actually was a bad example. Let me go ahead and pick the FR Sky. There we go. I like the FR Sky one. There we go, 8 channels. So next, let's go ahead and fill these in. So right now what you see is you got 4 channels active. You have a slots for 8. And you got 4 channels dead. So we want to go ahead and activate these 4 channels. First up will be the channel 5, the gear switch. Go ahead and where it says none, actually give it a value. I go ahead and put simple, source, put gear 0. Okay, and there you go. It's now assigned a value. Channel 5 is gear 0. And you can test this by checking your mixer menu. Alright, so let's go ahead and quickly fill in the rest. Whoops. Simple. And for channel 6, I want my mixer menu to be in charge of channel 6. There you go. My mix switch is now channel 6. For channel 7, simple, I want DR, dual rates, to be channel 7. So this is channel 7. And last but not least, channel 8, I want that to be, simple. I want that to be my flight mode. So channel 8 is F mod, flight mode. And like everything else, I put 0. And here we go, test it all out. And there you go, they all work. However, if you'll notice, these are 3-way switches. Channel 6, channel 8 are 3-way switches. However, they're acting like 2-way switches. See, the bottom switch all the way down has no value. Only the top 2 parts of the switch have value. We'll fix that. It's gonna get a little bit more complex, but it's not too bad. So where it says simple, it's not gonna be so simple now because we got 3-way switches. So it's gonna be exponential and dual rates, DR. We're gonna put this as mix 1, and for switch 2, which is technically your third side of the switch, I'm gonna put oddly enough, mix 0. I found that works well for me. And here at the middle, notice how the values up here, we're gonna ride the x-axis. There's a throwback to your algebra class for 0. That will make it work. So here you see it in action. You got your value up here. Then when you go to the middle, notice how this switch goes to the left side and has a 0 value. And then finally, when you go all the way down, nothing changes, but it technically goes over to this screen. It's worked for me. I know it sounds confusing, but it works. And I'll prove it to you right now. Notice channel 6, which is the mix 0 that we just modified, halfway and all the way down, 0 value. So it goes from up, middle, down. Now there's your 3-way switch activated. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the F mode, the flight mode. I'm going to take it off simple, do something a little bit more complex like exponential and dual rates. I'm going to find F mode 1, and then on this other switch I'm going to find F mode 0, and I'm going to take away the middle value and make that a 0, and there you go. Okay, test with the mixer switch, and there you have it. Channel 8 has the value of on, halfway, and off, if you want to think of it that way. Alright, so that concludes the mixer menu. As you can see, we filled this up, so good things. What that does is it represents one module's mix settings and the controllings for that model. In this case, it's model 1. If you choose another model, all of those will go away, or they'll default to whatever protocol is there. So as a shortcut, because I like that setting, I like having these switches set up the way they are now, I'm going to copy and paste these settings over to other models. So let's start by naming this model Model 1. I'm just going to make it my test page. And let's make it all caps. Test page. Something I like a lot about the Devo 6S touchscreen is notice how I'm just breathing through all these settings. If you had the Devo 7E, you'd be all over the place with these buttons, and everything just takes a lot longer, and it's a lot more frustrating in my personal experience. Alright, so we went ahead and set up the model page, model name, test page. Now, right here where it says file, instead of pressing load, I'm going to say copy to, and I'm going to copy to model 2. Now that I'm in model 2, which is also named test page, I'm going to rename that. And I'm going to put down, I don't know, Hubson, which is one of the quadcopters we're going to be testing today. And I'll go ahead and immediately change that protocol to Hubson 4. And for model 3, let's go back to the load page, to the test page. Let me copy to model 3. Save it, and let me go ahead and rename this to FR Sky, which again is another model that we're going to be test flying. Alright, let's go back to test page. So there you have it. Keep in mind, on file, all of these numbers here that go all the way to 30 are different models that you can put in. You can put in pretty much anything that you can fit in there, or different versions of the same model you can go ahead and load here. Just copy and paste it, build it yourself, download an INI, an INI file from the internet, whatever have you. The more modules you have at home, obviously the more helpful this screen is. Also, technically, you could do all of this. You could load pretty much any one of your quadcopters off of one model and maintain the same settings. That's also another possibility. All you really have to do is change the protocol, and there you have it. You have instant control over your quadcopter, same settings on one model, which is pretty nifty. Alright, so like I said before, TX power, 10 milliwatts or milliwatts, I don't know how to read that off. Pretty much it's just telling you that it's on low power, low consumption. Actually, if you can see, it's halfway, so we can even go lower. What about 1 milliwatt? And there you go. See how the values go up and down according to what you put in? Good things. Alright, so for the next part, I think I went ahead and covered everything TX wise. Oh, here's another really good one. Timers. So if you exit, notice that you have this timer right here and a countdown timer. it's not activated. It's not doing anything. That's going to be like, this is a stopwatch and this is a timer. You want to set it up, and what's very helpful is if you set it up to activate with your throttle stick. So as soon as you activate your throttle, it'll work. And I know what I just said sounds confusing, but let's go ahead and check it out. Timer 1, stopwatch, switch. You can either manually activate a switch, or I prefer just having auto mode through throttle. And there we go. So now that you put your throttle up, your timer starts counting down. So you're flying. This is great for measuring how much flight time you're getting per battery, by the way. And put it down, it stops the counter. Now if you hold on to it, I believe it resets it. Pretty nifty. Alright, so now we want to activate the timer. It's going to be a countdown, and it's going to activate same way through the throttle. And reset switch, when you press none, that pretty much means you hold it down and it'll reset itself. Usually my quadcopters fly for at least 5 minutes, so I like to get a 5-minute warning. After that 5-minute warning, every 10 seconds I believe, it's gonna beep at you and let you know that you've gone past your time limit. So it's just another way of warning you that go ahead and land because your battery is not fully charged. So there you go. Your stopwatch is active just by hitting the throttle switch, and your timer is active, and when you press down, they both stop. And if you want to reset them both, just hold on to it, and cool beans. Alright, you've probably noticed that over here this voltage jumps around back and forth between 4.9 volts and 5. That's normal, especially when you're on the CC2500 protocol, as well as Hubsan. That's normal, nothing to freak out about. It's just the way it is. Hopefully some version at some point will fix that. I don't know if it's a glitch or a bug, or if it's just really reading that voltage that way. But that's normal, so nothing to worry about. Alright, so I think I'm done with that part. Let me go ahead and do the quick test on all my 1, 2, 3. I got 4 different brands here to test out, and we're good to go. So let me go ahead and put it on the test page. Well, it is on the test page, never mind. And we'll start with the Devo. I also forgot to mention Fix ID. Right off the bat, it's going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. Just go ahead and take off the Fix ID when you're binding. Later on, you can play around with those settings. Fix ID is in case you're in a large area where a lot of people are turning on and off their quadcopters, to be able to, secure your bind better. Anywho, Devo. The Devo model is set. The way you bind a Devo radio is it has a countdown as soon as you turn it on. So you have 10 seconds after turning it on to plug in your battery. So timer's on, and plug in my battery. As you'll see, the timer counts down. All right. And it works. So there you go. Your Devo protocol works, no issues. Let's move on to something more mainstream, your Nano QX. In this case, you want to go to your protocol option and choose DSM-X, I believe, and click on, I believe you have to turn it on first, so let me turn it on and then hit bind. And it looks like it's bounded. Sometimes when it stays on that page, I find that moving a stick helps. And there you go. Your Horizon Hobbies DSM2 and DSMX protocol works. Now let's move on to something a little cooler. This is that just proves that your regular surf module stock that comes with the Walkera radio works. You don't need to add modules to do what I just did to fly Devo and your DSMX. However, to fly Hubsan, that is the reason why we installed an A7105. So let's go ahead and do the Hubsan. Hubsan, if I recall correctly, is turn on the model first, and then bind. And bind. There we go. Quick and easy. Look at that. Done and done. Actually, there's a good opportunity to test those switches, see what they do. Haha, there you go. Channel 5 on your Hubsan turns on the lights, and doesn't look like the other switches do anything. So there you go. That's pretty cool. And last but not least, your FrSky receiver. Okay, it'd be nice if I had the quadcopter right way up. And there you go. So let's go ahead and choose the right protocol, which is going to be FrSky. Here we go. And I believe I don't think it's already bounded. I think I did it already. In the case of FrSky, to bind it, what you want to do is you want to hold down this button. You want to hold down this button and simultaneously power up your RX. Both the green light and red light are going to be on. And what you do after that is you simply hit the bind button and it'll bind right to it. So let me see if it's already binded. In this case, I'm just going to turn it off and turn it back on. And in this case, it's already bound. So this radio is already familiar with this particular D4R2. So notice the green, that's a good thing. Oh, actually, this is going to be interesting. Definitely got to explain this to you. Let me turn this off for now. One thing about the D4R clean flight and this radio is on the mixer switch on the throttle channel. So in this case, let me exit. Let me actually go to the dedicated FrSky. Here's a dedicated FrSky module. Load. Actually, because I'm obsessive compulsive disorder like that, let me go ahead and make sure this says Hubsan. Yes, Hubsan. Load, FrSky. Alright, so in this case, your clean flight and this radio, they don't play nice unless you modify something in the throttle range. And my experience has been the scale has to be at 102. Great, now I can remember if it's the minimum max or if it's the scale. I'm pretty sure it's the scale. Anywho, if it doesn't work for you for one reason, try the min limit, maximum limit. But I'm pretty confident it's the scale. You have to put at 102 values. Instead of 100, 102. That's it. Without that, you won't be able to arm your D4R through clean flight. So, anywho, where was I? because it's already bounded, all I have to do really is turn on my quad and it should be bind straight up. And it is, as you can see, green. Alright, let's test it out. Those 3 flashes means it's ready. And it's armed. And obviously, as you see, I'm taking a little bit more precaution with this damn thing because things like a chainsaw. Pretty damn cool. Alright, like always, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to text me, call me, let me know what's up. Write me on RC groups, whatever. Just communicate with me, let me know any questions you have. And it's ready. I'm gonna send it out to you. I'm gonna try my best for tomorrow. Worst case scenario, Saturday morning. And be well.